In this section, we will be talking about East Asia's early dynasties in China. First of all, let's look at the main idea. Powerful families ruled and shaped ancient China for about 2,000 years. Now we will learn about the first dynasty, the Shang. The Shang dynasty started a series of dynasties, which is a series of rulers from the same family. The second dynasty is the Zhou. They fought with the Shang, north and west invaders, and themselves. Why they quarreled with themselves was because some of the lords wanted more land. The third dynasty is the Qin. Some people believe that China's name came from the Qin dynasty. After the ruler of the Qin, Shi Hongdi, died, archaeologists discovered the Terracotta Army, which was believed to protect the ruler's tomb. Finally, the Han dynasty. This dynasty established a strong central government that has similarities to this feudal system. Moving on to the next section.
In this section of East Asia, you will learn about the goods and ideas of trade, Silk Roads, and trade routes. First, let's look at the main idea. Goods were traded and ideas were spread on Silk Roads, which connected China to much of the world. Now, let's look at the goods and ideas of trade. People mainly exchanged silk, jade, and spices because most of them were prohibited to cross the borders of China. There was not one single currency being used by the traders, so they bartered without using money. For example, in exchange for their silk, they might have received blue dye from the Mediterranean traders. Now, let's look at the trade routes and Silk Roads. Silk Roads were a series of trade routes that began during the Han Dynasty. Silk Roads got their name from the trade of silk cloth. The roads connected China with Europe, India, Central Asia, and North Africa. The main overland route began in the city of Chang'an, the capital of ancient China. Trade routes were stretched west to Central Asia, Africa, and South India. Moving on to the next section.
In this section, we will be learning about the Communist Revolution. First, let's start off with the main idea. The Chinese Communist Party under Mao Zedong significantly changed life in the People's Republic of China. Now we will talk about how the bloody civil war came to be. So the Nationalist Party was in control and the Communists wanted to change China. And then on October 1st, 1949, the Communists declared victory. Therefore, Mao became leader of the new communist China. About 5 years later, a plan called the Cultural Revolution to remove any anti-communist elements from China came. After Mao died in 1976, China started to slowly change. It is still communist. Reforms begun in 1980s that led to the Great Growth. Now moving on to the next section.
The Great Wall of China, most everyone has heard of it. The construction of the wall began in 221 BCE and ended in 1368 CE. The wall was built to keep out northern invaders like the Mongols.
It was mostly built with compacted dirt surrounded by stone. There were soldiers guarding the walls and towers.
The original wall was started by the Qin dynasty, but other dynasties finished it. It took over 1,000 years to finish.
Question time. True or false? The traders never or used any kind of currency. If you said true, you are correct. Traders never carried or used any kind of currency.
Who Question number 2. Who led the Chinese Communists to win over the Nationalist Party? If you said Mao Zedong, you are correct.
Question number 3. What dynasty had a central government set up kind of like the feudal system? If you said the Han Dynasty, then you are correct.
Question number 4. How long did it take to build the Great Wall of China? A. 1,000 years, B. 2,000 years, or C. 10,000 years?
If you said A, 1,000 years, you are correct.
Thank you for watching our video over East Asia's history.